What's going on? What's happening? What's happening? Part of my presence YouTube channel. I'm not going to keep you here for too long. This is going to be a short and sweet one. I want to talk about domestic violence, okay? And I'm going to approach this from the male's perspective. I think it's really important for the males to hear this, men to hear this, because it's very simple. Okay, now I'm making this video because it's a response to what's been going on in whether it's social media or whether it's the news. There's a lot of situations that are happening in the public. For one, you got the issue with the reality TV show Marriage Boot Camp with a rapper named Vado and I guess an IG model named Tahiry, where they got into a fight where there was some type of argument that happened. Vado decided to get up, and he stood up and he put hands on Tahiry, or what it seems to be putting hands on Tahiry. And in reality TV fashion, a lot of cuts, camera cuts, a lot of oohs and ahs. People don't know what happened. The security comes in, they cart him away. All kind of profanities are thrown out. And then there's another clip with that same woman, Tahiry, throwing apples at Vado in an event that occurred prior to that. Okay, but let's take it a step even further back, because prior to all this, there was a clip where Tahiry said that Vado is the brokest guy she's ever dated. Okay, and this was said on national television. This was all part of the promos that go out, in regards to their show, Marriage Boot Camp, that they have with other celebrities, doing whatever they need to do to feel like they're going to have a successful marriage. Meanwhile, I don't even think people even knew that they were together, and it's still questionable whether or not they're actually in a relationship. So all of that's all in the public eye. It's all on social media. People are talking about it. So it's something that I want to address. Okay. Now the second thing that's very huge in the public eye is the issue with Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. It's still not known what actually happened. Apparently Meg Thee Stallion allegedly got shot in her foot, and no one is saying who shot her. She's just saying that she was shot and that she's a victim of a crime and that it was intentional. Meanwhile, the person who was charged with possession of a firearm was Tory Lanez. But no one's putting the two and two together to say, well, if he had possession of the gun, is he the shooter? Meg's not saying anything, although she is saying a lot, but a lot indirectly, and a lot in regards to making sure that the focus is on her and getting all of the pity and all the support, showing her way. It's almost like she's trying to spin it in a way where the focus should be about me and not about what actually took place. Why that's the case, I don't know. Why she doesn't want to say exactly what happened, I don't know. Why she decides to even come out to begin with and speak her piece, half of it, right, and not all of the piece, I don't know. It makes no sense to me. But again, these are the two high profile scenarios that has caused me to make this video. And I want to be very clear here, because it's very simple. Men, you do not hit women. You do not put your hands on women. But here's the jewel I want to drop. You never have to. There's never a situation where you have to use force on a woman. All right? When I say force, you know what I mean, right? And the reason why I say that is because there's always going to be signs that if you stay with this particular woman that you're messing around with, there's going to be signs. And those signs, if you ignore them and you decide to stay, you're going to end up in situations like Vado, situations like Tory Lanez, allegedly, because we don't know what happened there. But you're going to end up in those same predicaments where you end up feeling like you have to force your hand and actually physically harm a woman. It's never needed. Never. And the onus is on you to make sure you don't put yourself in this position. And again, like I said, it's very easy. Whenever you see signs that a woman is not going to listen to you based on you using words, based on you having a discussion, if you can't rationalize with a woman verbally, if you guys can't come to an agreement verbally, if you guys can't resolve issues in the same day, if you decide to hold the things in and not say anything and allow the same abuse to continue, at some point in the future, unless you take yourself away from the situation, you're going to end up in the same positions as Tory Lanez and Vado. Now, let me be more specific here, okay? In the case of Vado, how long are you going to allow your woman to emasculate you in front of millions on national TV? What do you think that does to a male ego? It does a lot. On top of that, all your friends are seeing it. You gotta deal with all the embarrassments, the jokes. How do you feel good about yourself after your own woman, the woman who's supposed to be not necessarily your backbone, but your woman's supposed to be your ride or die. Your woman's supposed to be your cheerleader, your support system, right? Your best friend. Hopefully, right? Your woman's your best friend. So all these things that's supposed to be the core of a good relationship, you don't have. You have a woman who disrespects you. You have a woman who calls you out of your name. You have a woman who devalues you. But she also wants to stay around you, stay attached to you. Why? Because she's going to use you as a punching bag. And at some point in time, because you feel that you're a big enough man that you could deal with it, you could brush it off your shoulder, it doesn't affect you, I'm bigger than that. But eventually, if you keep that in and you let that fly, there's going to come a point where someone's going to throw an apple at you and you're going to lose your cool, right? All that coolness that you thought you had, that thick skin that you thought you had, there's going to come a time where you don't have that anymore and you're going to snap and you're going to do something like what Vado did and what Tory Lanez allegedly did. And when something like that happens, when you finally snap, when that bridge breaks, when the levee breaks, there's no turning back. Why? Because at the end of the day, if you put hands on a woman, there is no scenario that could justify it. Unless she was about to kill you, right? And she was the aggressor, then you had to defend yourself. But again, that's a real tough job to prove, right? Because you know how women's going to spin it if they are going to do that, right? But the point I'm making is, before it even comes to that point, you already know if you have a good woman. You already know if you have a toxic relationship that you're involved in. You already know if your woman is egging you on. You already know if your woman is not your best friend, not your ride or die, not your supporter. You already know these things. So, fellas, because again, it's your life that you're going to screw up, not the woman's. You already see that women like to distance themselves away. They like to, women, one thing you have to realize about women, they specialize in self-preservation. Okay, so men, please understand, the only recourse is to walk away and remove yourself from the situation early. Again, the signs. A woman doesn't ride for you. A woman doesn't know how to challenge you in a respectful way. Because again, you want a woman to question you in a loving manner. You want a woman who's going to correct you when you're wrong, make you see things from a different point of view. So all that's very important. but it has to be done in a loving way. And if you have a woman that's going to ridicule you, if a woman who's going to embarrass you, if you have a woman who's going to down talk you in front of people to make you feel ashamed, that is not the woman you need in your life. And if you have that in your life at the moment, walk away now, before you end up in that predicament where you feel you have no other recourse but to do what Vado did. Okay? So it's very important. Men, it doesn't matter what she did. Right? It doesn't matter how many apples she's thrown at you. You cannot use that as an excuse. Because if you come on TV, if you come on an interview and say, well, she started it. Well, did you see all the things that she did to me? How she tried to embarrass me? How she tried to make me feel like lesser than a man? It doesn't matter. She played you. You've been taken for a fool. Leave. Don't argue. Don't try to justify your decision with her. Don't try to rationalize it with her. Once you see those signs, remove yourself from the situation. No stress, no gray hairs, no fussing or fighting, no raising your voice or yelling, no losing your cool, no going into your car to punch air or just swing at air. None of those things are required. Leave. That is the biggest power that you have as a man if you feel that you're being disrespected in a relationship. Leave. And that's all I gotta say, okay? At the end of the day, it is your life. Protect it like if it's your own. Don't let no woman trick you out of your position. Stand and have conviction. Stand on it. If you feel that she's not your ride or die, if you get a whiff that she's not down for you, that you're being used, that you're being abused, leave now. Because if you leave now, you're going to prevent those predicaments that those guys found themselves in. So that's my message to you. That's all I got to say. It's that simple. Leave. Pardon My Presence YouTube channel. Peace.